Welcome to the TTS Talking Teachers podcast. Now, each week we'll be joined by different educational speakers from across the globe, offering exclusive insights, inspiration, and guidance to help teachers unlock new opportunities to enhance learning outcomes. To be the first to hear about future episodes and access follow-up content, including ideas for your classroom, resource recommendations, and more, sign up for exclusive access using the link in our podcast description. Hey everyone, this is Steve Bollar, also known as Stand Tall Steve. I'm here with Iantha Ussin. We've been discussing over the last few podcast episodes about classroom management and all the different parts of it that can really make or break a classroom. We talked about the rituals and routines. We've talked about developing healthy adult-child relationships. And the last one we talked about is about the importance of being direct, taking charge of the classroom in a positive way. Now, all of this, we can't leave up to chance. We can't just assume that all of this is going to happen. Now we're going to get into something that educators know very much about, which is lesson planning and how we can make sure that our lesson planning and our preparation leads to great classroom management. So talk to me about it, Iantha. Tell me something.
I tell you what.
Yeah.
One of the key phrases in my book, and everywhere I go, I say to every teacher, the most effective classroom management plan is an engaging, impactful lesson plan. If I am going in knowing that this lesson from the moment they walk in to the moment they walk out is engaging, it has them moving, it means something in their world. If I have them, I am not having to spend time redirecting students. I'm not having to spend time the lesson plan is taking care of all my classroom management because we're learning, we're engaging, we're having a good time.
Right.
The most effective classroom management tool is an engaging, impactful lesson plan.
That's it. All right. So let's get a picture in our mind here. All right. I've been an administrator for a while. I've been in and out of classrooms, right? I go into a classroom. I go in there. I see the teacher. She's sitting at her desk. Students are there working or whatever, and her back is sitting up straight. She's just looking, waiting for those kids to act up. What, and just like these kids, this classroom management, and this, that. But you sit behind a desk. You're not doing anything. It's like you're stressing yourself out. You're stressing the kids out. It was not planned lesson. It wasn't a quality lesson plan. So let's dive into what aspects, what pieces, what things make up a quality lesson so that you're not doing that. You're not having a stressed out teacher and students in the classroom. Talk to me a little bit.
Yeah. We live in a world that is technology based, and our students, these here cell phones, if you can't see my hand, they live on them. We do too as adults. We live on our cell phones. Why am I saying this? Because everything is coming to us quickly. And we're seeing motion. We're not just reading from books anymore. Things are before our eyes, and our students need that. And so we have made some advancements in education where we have a lot of tools now that we can bring technology into the classroom. So why are we not using it? Use that in the classroom. And any lesson is going to start with a good opener. Grab those kids, pull them in, use videos, use whatever you can use to engage them, and then bring the world into their work. That is their world. Why is this important to you? Why does this matter in your world? Why does this matter in your world? One of the teachers that I worked with, a math teacher on my team some years ago, she was teaching students how to change decimals to percentages and, all that stuff. And so she gave them a very real project where they had to go on the Jordan website because they love their Jordans on their feet. They had to decide two pairs that they wanted, They had to get the total, and then they had to determine what it would be if there were 20% off, if they were 30% off, if they were, the kids were so engaged because they were able to imagine themselves in those shoes. Can you imagine how engaged they were from beginning to the end of the class period?
Totally, 100%.
She was not redirecting students. They were too busy trying to find out how much their Jordans were going to cost. And so in the beginning, grab them. In the work period, make sure they're working on something that matters in their world. And then close it up by making sure that you're checking for their understanding and giving them something that they can leave with. This is how we get them. That lesson plan has to be, it's got to be for them.
Yeah. I love what you said. This is how we get them. That's right. We want to get them. You want to get them this way. Get them good. Yeah. Get them this way. I love that. That's exactly what it is. Now, okay, I'm going to go two different ways on this. All right. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about the educators, the teachers who have the argument of that's not what the real world is like. I'm going to give them what the real world is like. The real world is direct. Get your work done. This is why should I do that? And then they're sitting there having issues and problems in their classroom. So talk about first, those educators, the argument of this is not how the world is that you're hearing. What do you say to that?
I would say, why not do both? Why not do both? Why not? If you've seen that this works, how about trying this, especially if the students are, let me pause there. Our students teach us how to teach them. They do. When they come into the classroom and they are just being themselves, you learn from simply watching them how to teach them. Some of the best teachers are the best teachers because they simply meet student needs. They know the students. Relationship matters in even teaching them. So when you see that something you're doing is working, okay, great, keep it. Now let's see what else could possibly work. And now you have a diverse kind of teaching plan that you can pull from.
You can pull from so many. Yes.
Why not? And like we talked about in a previous episode with how the older teachers can help the newer teachers, and the newer teachers can actually help the older teachers as well. Those ones who are so set in their ways. When you see that classroom is jamming over there, instead of looking down on that teacher saying that they just want to be like the kids or they're, trying to be the students. No, actually, the students are learning over there because what that teacher is doing is bringing it into their world. We have to meet them where they are. We don't have to change everything that we're doing. There are some things, some staples that need to be in place. I agree. But they're a whole different generation too. So what can we bring in to meet them?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. And it's like, and it used to just drive me crazy. Like, well, that's not the world, the way the world is. And sometimes you sit back like, well, I don't really have an argument with that because you're right. The world really isn't that way. But I love your answer for it is why not do both?
Why not?
You're just going one side completely, then adjust it. And I love what you say. The kids are telling you exactly how to teach them. They are showing you. Here it is on a silver platter. This is how to teach me. There you go. Make it happen. Grab it and use it.
Use it.
All right. Now, the other side of this, I said there's two questions on this that I have. The other thing is you're trying something new. You're developing these lesson plans, right? Mm-hmm. And it bombs. Yeah. All right. It's a boom, sinking, all the way down. It bombs, right? Mm-hmm. How do you get over that? How do you get over it? Now, you got that teacher that's a hard-nosed teacher. You know what? I tried this. It didn't work. Or you have the new teacher like, oh, my God, I didn't work. Oh, my God. How do you get over that? Because sometimes it's not going to work. What are you going to do?
Oh, my gosh. You got me laughing because I'm just thinking about how many lessons failed in my classroom. It happens. But again, I'm going to keep on going back to relationship. Everything just works hand in hand. Lesson planning, relationship, just setting the order, all of that stuff matters.
Yep.
Because I would be able to say to my kids, oh, y'all, that didn't go over well. But let me tell you, we're going to start this over. And I would just try again, try it from a different angle, do something different. And that's again, going back to the previous question, there has to be some other tools that we can pull from. This one way will not work for every standard. It won't work for every concept. It won't work for everything that we're teaching. So can I teach it a different way? This is where we go and talk to colleagues. Another 8th grade English teacher. Okay, so how did you teach this standard? How did you teach this story? What are some things that you pulled in? Teaching is not an island. We are a collaborative profession. You have got to talk to other teachers. So try it a different way. Talk to other people and see how they did it. It's gonna bomb at some point. So when it bombs, go somewhere and find how to make it work.
That's right. And you need to be, I love the fact that you've talked to your students about it. You're like, look, y'all, this wasn't hitting. And they're like, they'll tell you. Like, again, they tell you what it is. And it's okay to be that way. It's okay to say to them, this bombed, this didn't work. I mean, I remember one time I was at my one school. I keep going back. I had this new teacher, and I mean first year teacher. She went in for a formal observation, and she told me this is a brand new concept, brand new way I'm going to teach this. I'm saying, you sure you want to do this, Nick? When I'm coming for your first teacher observation, she's like, yes, bring it. I go in there. Oh, it bombed. It bombed so bad. And I'm sitting there just like, oh, girl. Now this is she's a quality teacher. I mean, she's still at that school. She's phenomenal. She comes back to me. She says, I talked to my students. They agreed that it didn't go well. I'm going to change it. Can you come back next week? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. She did exactly what it is that you just said. Yeah. Talk to your students. We're going to, and I says, fine. I went back next week. She changed the whole thing up. Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. Absolutely phenomenal way of doing it. It's a completely, totally different way of making that happen. That was perfect. I love it. Yeah.
And for her to initiate that with you, like, I want to show you that I can do this. I think that's big too. But yeah, just go and figure it out. Figure out a new way to do it.
That's it. Now, one of the big things, let's talk about a little bit with, and I know we're talking about lesson planning, but let's also talk a little bit about classroom setup as far as, students sitting, because there's this argument that's out there. Can students, learn as well in straight rows, or do they have to do groups, and do we do it in pairs, and what would be this, and how can I plan this all up and everything? Talk to me about what your thoughts are as opposed to straight rows, as opposed to groups, as opposed to pairs, as opposed to, all these different ways of doing it, because this all goes into that planning piece of it. Give me your thoughts.
Mm-hmm. It does. And I think I love that question, because I was known on my hallway for being the teacher who's always slinging desks. What does that mean?
Oh, I love that. I love it. Slinging desks. I love it. I
would sling desks.
We didn't even prep for this question. I had a feeling you were going to say this. So go, girl, go. Right.
I loved it because different concepts, standards, activities call for different seating. And it's okay to change it. And my kids wouldn't know from day to day, which is something that kept them on their toes, which was something I had to tell them in the very beginning of the school year. When you come into the classroom and it's like this in rows, this is how we file in and we practice. I demonstrate, we practice. If you're ever in groups of 4, you need to look to the screen when you come in and find your name to sit at that numbered table. Because the activity that we're working on requires that you do this in a group. If you were ever in pairs, I would stand at the door with my handy dandy clipboard as they're coming in. All right, Jason, you're paired with Tia. Y'all are over there. Point you right to it. And I would point them to their pairs. As an English teacher, whenever we were doing the revising portion of essays, there was a way that I did that where it had to be pairs. There was no other way to do it. And so I think that different seating is required for different activities. And if you are always sitting in rows, I think, this is just Miss Ussin talking, that's a problem. I think. Okay. So yeah.
I'm with you 100% on that. And here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with sitting in rows. But if that's all you do, then we got an issue. All right. But there's variety. And here's the thing. I don't care what state you're in, what country you're in. It is, as far as I know, it's not against the law anywhere for children to move desks. It's not a It's not child labor. Move a desk, slide something over. And also, I love the fact that, and let's go back to being direct. You choose the seating of the children. You pick to where they are. That establishes you as the leader in that classroom.
Yes.
I have seen classrooms where teachers are, oh, sit where you want. I trust these kids. These are the best kids. Oh, look at your face. You're tearing your face up. No. Own that classroom. Let's say that you have the best classroom you've ever had in your 20 years of teaching. This is the classroom of all classrooms. I can let them sit wherever they want. This has been perfect. Then all of a sudden, February, that kid, air quotes, moves in. Now that kid's just jacked everything up, and now you got to go in and assign seats to certain, and now everybody's mad at that kid and mad at you. Own your classroom, own your seating, and use it based off of your lesson plan, based off of what it is that you want to do. I love what you're saying with that. Yes. Talk, you were tearing up your face about letting the kids pick their own seats. Tell me something.
I tell you what, this is part of my plan. On the first day, I let students sit wherever they want on the first day when they first come in. But then I start going through, this is what we do in this class. So now I need everyone to grab all your things and we're going to line up outside of the classroom. They think I'm the cool teacher at first.
Okay.
But then I teach them, this is how we file in. This is what we do. And then we do it again. I say, now I want you to scramble, put another line outside the room. All right. And let's practice filing in again. It doesn't matter where you are in line. You always file in this way, this way, this way, this way. I would be nutso if students always sat wherever they wanted to. Because even in the planning, level-based planning, sometimes I need a peer tutor situation where I need this student who is excelling on this standard to kind of help this student. They can explain it a little bit better. They're tired of hearing me. They listen very well to their peers. So I need her to explain that. So I need to pair them. We can't just sit where we want. That's a part of my plan. I've been poring over their progress. I've been poring over how they're excelling or not excelling. So now I need to see what group they're going to work in because they're working on this standard at that group. I'm differentiating. You can't be anywhere. That's part of the plan.
Yes, it's part of the plan. All of this is the thinking ahead of time. It's the thinking in also with it. So not only are you just looking at your curriculum, you're looking at your instructional practices, you're also keeping in mind what kind of students you have. Back to the relationships that you develop. Thinking about who they are, where they are needed, where their strengths are, the running record, not only for what their instruction is, but also who they are and how that can best influence the instruction that needs to be given, giving them the best outcomes. And you're in charge of that classroom, being direct again, setting rituals and routines. You're talking about this is where you coming into this classroom no matter what. It's planned. It's planned. It is planned.
Yeah.
That's it. Boom.
And we know the saying, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
That's it. Yeah. That's it. Boom. Hey, what a wonderful way to end this. Hey, that was it. Oh, we have got some great insights on this. The importance of setting up your lesson, planning it out. We talked about setting up your classroom, moving desks around, having that relationship, back to that piece again, helping you better influence it. We also talked about the importance of connecting with other educators, helping them out. If you have a lesson that has bombed, don't just run away from everything. Reflect, go back through, think it over again. And also we talk about that traditional, this is not the way it happens in the real world, as opposed to trying new and different ways, trying both different ways. We've shared a lot of different great ideas with this. I have loved this series. This has been so good. It's been wonderful. It allowed people the opportunity, the understanding of classroom management and how to better set up your classroom so that you have that great school year, year after year after year. All right. My name's Steve Bollar, also known as Stand Tall Steve. I have Iantha Ussin, who is here helping us with this classroom management series. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. It's been great.
Yes. I would like to say a huge thank you to our guest, Iantha. Thank you so much for joining us. You are joining us and provided such valuable insights. Now, you've been listening to the TTS Talking Teachers podcast with me, Stephen Bollar, also known as Stand Tall Steve, and Iantha Ussin. If you have been inspired by our conversation today in any way, don't forget, you can sign up via the link on our episode notes to be the first to hear about future episodes and access exclusive follow-up content, including ideas for your classroom and ways to shop useful resources.